Information to help you run your business better and improve your marketing campaigns. My name is Hank Hoffmeyer, and thank you for joining me on Hank's Marketing and Business Tips. Welcome to episode 211 of the HMBT podcast. Once again, I have a guest with me, and it's been so great to have wonderful guests come on the show and give their knowledge. I just feel like I've been talking at the mic so long by myself, but today I'm joined by Danielle Gray. She's the owner of DG Marketing Company, and I have come to know her as the Content Whipserer. She came to one of the Triangle AMA, American Marketing Association's morning meetings, where actually it was lunchtime, and she gave a talk about using content in marketing, and I was very much impressed and asked her to come on the show. Danielle, thank you for coming on the show. It means a lot to me, and I think you have a lot of great information to share today.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
So what does it mean to be a content whisperer? What goes into that?
So I like to start with how it all got started. So I was a marketing coordinator at my AEC firm. It was a design build firm, and I was tasked with doing the social media. So I was like, okay, no sweat, I can do that. But then I realized that you have to have something to say to go to social media. You can't just be on social media. It's a sharing platform of content. So from there, I said, okay, well, I need to get content for my team. And that proved to be much more difficult than I thought because nobody wanted to give me any content. So basically, the Content Whisperer idea comes from, I learned how to deal with different personalities and learned a lot of different techniques and strategies to get content, extract this content out of their brains when they really didn't want to give it to me. And not even that they were being, just difficult. It was that they really don't realize what content lies in their head, but I knew that they had it because I needed the technical info. So that's really where it came from, it's the act of getting any kind of content from anybody, any kind of personality type, no matter how easy or difficult that personality is.
That seems like it aligns more with that guy Caesar from, the Dog Whisperer. And then
yeah, exactly.
And it's a lot different than my daughter, who we dubbed the Chicken Whisperer, because we have chickens and she's kind of befriended them. But I think that's out of love for food that she feeds them. Right. But I like how you're pulling content out of people, because I think as a small business owner, especially entrepreneur, you're always saying, what do I need to put out on social media? And they feel like probably they don't have ideas, but they actually do. They just need that help. They need that inspiration, which is what you provide to them.
Yeah. And it's really about, and one of my clients said this, and I find it to be really true, is that it's about being present. And sometimes, like, as marketers, we're thinking about strategy, we're thinking about the past, we're thinking about the future, but you really find the content in the present. Like, oh, this could be really cool, but you have to really be, and I'm really big with mindfulness and all that good stuff. So it's really about seeing what's around you and seeing what you can create out of it. And not everybody is in that moment. So I try to push people into that.
Do you have any tips on how to be in a moment and extract that information?
I've been playing with this idea of in the moment marketing. And I think it really starts with, honestly, is being mindful and being present in your regular life so that you can be that, because you can't just switch that on. It's not an on and off switch. It's about being really mindful and thoughtful in the first place. But what I like to do is just kind of sit everything down, maybe even close my computer and just look around and see what's around me. And also recognizing and being very clear on who is my audience and what do they need? Because if I know that, then I can see the world through their lens, and that's how I can really start to create some really cool content.
And I think it's important to mention, if you're going to, say, be near your laptop or your computer and you want to take notes while you're in the moment, make sure to turn off your phone, turn off notifications so you don't hear that ding of either social media or email and want to be compelled to go over and check those messages, because I think that stops the progression of being able to come up with some great content. If you're in the moment and you get torn away, it's hard to get back. In other words, you're not in the moment anymore.
No, absolutely. And even taking a walk. I mean, like, sometimes just changing up your atmosphere, your environment really helps too. Like, I just came back from the gym and now I have content ideas. And when you just step outside of that for a moment and kind of look at these things with a fresh fresh view, fresh perspective, it really helps as well.
If you're like me, you'll probably you're not, but that's why I'm asking you. I'll come up with these content babies, right? And then if I don't document them somehow, either write it down or put it through my notes and from Siri and the iPhone, I'll forget about them. Is there
Yep.
any way that you would mention to say taking a walk and you come up with a great idea, or you just finished a workout, you have these wonderful ideas? How do you retain them if your memory's not the best in the world?
That is such a great question because mine is not at all. I don't know how many pieces of content have flown in and out of my brain, but what I have started to do, and probably within the last 3 or 4 years, is at least do a what, so what, now what in my notes. So it's like, what's the topic? What am I thinking about? So what is, why is this important, overall? And then, or why is this important to my audience, more importantly? Like, who cares? So what? Why would they care? And then finally, now what? What would you want someone to take from this information? How should they apply it? So if you're kind of in a rush and you can't necessarily write all of the content or write the blog or proposal or whatever it is, I always do the what, so what, now what. It's a quick kind of outline to at least I can go back and live back in that moment so I can recreate it later.
I love that. That is great. That definitely needs to be in the show notes so that people are encouraged to listen to this episode.
Yes, that's my go-to for sure. Actually planning to write a book about it at some point, because that's like that's my holy grail, if you will.
Right. Yeah, I have one out there, and what's interesting is to me it's more inspirational. It talks about getting people to use automation and make sure their branding's on point and then have excellent customer service. It doesn't dig into details as far as analytics and all that. And I got a negative review or a 1-star review recently, and I looked at it and I read it, and I understand his point of view. It's not what he wanted, but my book's not for everyone.
Right.
People don't understand how much goes into writing a book and how much passion I put into that. But I, in turn, somebody on LinkedIn posted a copy of my book and said that they thought it was awesome and it helped them write a master's thesis. I mean,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, content, the specific content one person puts out or a brand puts out is not for everyone. And you have to be okay with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many people there, and I always talk about abundance, and there's plenty of people out there that will love it, and a good amount that won't, and that's okay too. And they don't dictate anything that I'm doing over here, so that's fine.
And you just found an accountability partner, because every now and then, a couple months, I'm gonna reach out and be like, hey, where are you at with that book? Did you write any pages?
You know what? That would actually be really helpful. My dad actually was my accountability partner because he's written 2 books, and so I have it in there, but I have not really pushed it. So I really could use an accountability partner, especially when you're running a small business. It's not like you have tons of employees around you. So it's you yourself, and that's it. So accountability could be very helpful, Hank. I appreciate that.
Right. And I've heard the phrase, everybody has a book in them. And somebody told me once, like, that's not true, but I think everybody has a book in them, but not everybody should sell them is probably the best phrase.
Right. Exactly.
If you're passionate about something, you should write it, right? Even if it's just for your personal reasons and reading and for your family and loved ones, that's great.
Exactly.
As a marketer, capturing the attention of your audience is probably one of the most important things. If you don't get their attention, you don't get a conversion, you don't get a follower, a newsletter subscriber, etc. What do you think are the most important things that you have to do to make sure you're able to get the attention of your audience when doing marketing content?
So a big thing that I've been talking about, and this is actually probably my most popular so far. It used to be Confessions of a Content Whisperer, but now my presentation, Nobody's Reading That, crafting engaging content for the scanning eye. And that's what I'm realizing is, one, I had to look at myself and say, I don't usually read long captions. I don't read a lot of stuff, right? And a lot of people don't, because there's so much content around us. So what I've been really pushing is the idea of scannable content, because I don't know if anybody really reads word for word anything anymore. So what I really push is the marrying between good content and making it visual, because the only thing that you can scan, it usually has to have a visual element to it. So, having like the pull out quotes, or having a photo or infographics, and you look at all these different things, it makes it easier for people to scan your content rather than just having big blocks of text that I can't even understand, adding, subheadings and headings and bold here and italics there. It really allows visually a reader to be able to find where these pieces of content, or those key pieces that you want them to read or make sure they read. And then, just kind of marrying all of that together. So the scannable content, it has to be scannable, whether it's even in a video. You look at, I see all these videos and they don't always have captions with them. And having captions, a lot of people don't listen to things, with the sound on anymore. So just really thinking about, okay, it's 2020, how am I absorbing content now? And if I'm in an office setting, I can't listen to anything, or if I'm reading through a proposal, I'm just trying to get the high points so I can break it down to the top 3. So it's just kind of looking at all these things and recognizing that we're people and we're humans, and a lot of humans don't care as much as we think that they do. So that's kind of like my main thing right now, is just making sure content is always scannable and have the reader in mind.
And to an extent, I holistically believe exactly what you said. I think that is what TikTok is about, right? If it's not quickly scannable and interesting and visual, like you said, people are going to scroll to the next post.
Exactly
what that is. And if you don't know what TikTok is, find out about it, download the app. Obviously, there's a lot of really young folks on there right now, but there are a lot of professionals every day. And the most important thing I want to mention as a marketer for that is it's not a pay-to-play platform right now. In other words, you can get so much reach. Maybe you're getting 10 likes on Instagram. You're going to get 2 to 3 or 500 likes on TikTok, because the algorithms are just not set to punish people and make them want to pay for ads right now. And if you want to find out what scannable content is, that's where you can probably learn some lessons.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to look into it myself. I know exactly what TikTok is, but I've only seen it in the, people doing dances and all that stuff. So I'm definitely interested in learning more about it.
It's interesting how there's some people that schedule, plan, and execute these videos that are like very short, like 15 seconds, but you could tell it took them hours, if not days, to complete that post.
Wow. Yep. That's content. The good content usually takes a long time, but it has to be simple and easily digestible.
Right. And I struggle with that all the time, because I want to put more content out, but yet I want it to be valuable. And then again, sometimes I struggle to find the time to do it. But you have to keep your audience in mind. It's not about you, it's about your audience.
Yep, absolutely. 100% agree.
I want to ask you for another tip, but you gave us so many, value bombs so far. But is there any other types of tips that you can offer for, say, a marketer, a small business owner, an entrepreneur?
I think that what I've learned about being an entrepreneur overall is that this life is very cyclical, and that it's about, to me, this whole experience is about creating freedom. And I know that this is like, this is about marketers, but really I get to the people side of it too, is that this is not an easy road, but it's very worthwhile for me, because I get to create things that I love and that is tied to my dreams coming true. And really, I just want to make a huge impact in looking at not just content, but actually reminding people that the human interaction is so important. And that's what my marketing and everything that I create, I want it to feel that way, is that, wow, a human made this, instead of a lot of robotic campaigns that you see around now. So, I think as far as suggestions and advice is just stay true to you, and remember that it's cyclical. It's not going to always be easy. But if it's worth it for you, then it's a level of freedom that is unimaginable. So, and it's worth it for me every day.
Well said. And with that, if somebody wanted you to whisper to them, how can they reach out to you?
So yeah, my website is dgmarketingco.com. So dgmarketingco.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, Danielle Gray, MBA, and my Gray is Gray. I know there's always that E that gets thrown around, but Danielle Gray, MBA. I'm on Twitter at Danielle Gray, MBA, and also on Instagram if you are interested in, if you're in that platform. It's a lot more social for me, but I do throw in my work stuff as well. But I'm open to anybody. So at Danielle Gray, MBA there as well.
Awesome. Reach out, connect, ask her some questions. I know you guys probably were blown away by the information she provided. She'd be willing to have a virtual coffee with you and see what she can do for you. But with
Absolutely.
that, that's pretty much all for this week. If you want to hear previous episodes, head over to hankhoffmeyer.com/Alexa. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, any platform that you might find podcasts. I'm probably there. Your Amazon Alexa too. Don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, like and subscribe some of my videos over there. And with that, we'll see you next week.